You know what's crazy? We can spend 12 years in school learning calculus, memorizing historical dates, studying Shakespeare, but nobody ever sits us down and teaches us about money. Not really. Not the way it actually works in our lives. And then we graduate, step into the real world, and we're expected to just figure it out, make smart financial decisions, build wealth, understand investing. But here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. Money isn't really about math. It's about psychology. It's about emotions. It's about the stories we tell ourselves late at night when we can't sleep because we're worried about bills, or the feeling we get when we see someone else's success and wonder why we're falling behind. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Have you ever bought something you didn't need, with money you didn't have, to impress people you don't even like? Yeah, I've been there too. We all have. Because money does something weird to our brains. It triggers emotions we don't always understand. Fear, greed, envy, pride. And these emotions, they drive almost every financial decision we make, whether we realize it or not. Here's what blew my mind when I really started understanding the psychology of money. Two people can make the exact same income, live in the same neighborhood, have the same opportunities, but one builds wealth while the other stays broke. How is that possible? It's not about intelligence. Some of the smartest people I know are terrible with money. It's not always about discipline either, though that plays a part. The real difference is how they think about money. Their money mindset. The beliefs they carry, often from childhood, about what money means and what it can do. Think about your own relationship with money for a second. Where did you learn about it? Probably from your parents, right? And here's the thing, they taught you through their actions more than their words. If you grew up watching your parents stress about every purchase, always saying things like, "We can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," guess what? You probably absorbed a scarcity mindset. You learned that money is scarce, hard to get, and something to constantly worry about. On the flip side, if you grew up wealthy, you might think money is easy, that it just flows naturally, which can lead to careless spending and its own set of problems. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your relationship with money isn't just about how much you have, it's about how much you think you need. And this is where so many of us get trapped. We're on this endless treadmill, always chasing more. We tell ourselves, once I make 6 figures, I'll be happy. Once I buy that house, that car, those designer clothes, then I'll feel successful. But you know what happens when we get there? The goalpost moves. Suddenly 6 figures isn't enough. We need 7. The house isn't big enough. The car gets old. And we're right back where we started, feeling like we don't have enough, even though we have exponentially more than we did before. There's this concept called the Hedonic treadmill, and it perfectly explains why lottery winners often end up broke and miserable. When something good happens, we feel a rush of happiness, but then we adapt. That new level becomes our new normal, and we need more to feel that same rush again. It's the same reason why your first paycheck felt amazing, but now you barely notice the money hitting your account. We adapt, we normalize, and then we want more. Let me tell you about 2 different people I know. Let's call them Sarah and Mike. Sarah makes about $70,000 a year. She lives in a modest apartment, drives a used car that's paid off, and rarely buys anything flashy. But here's the thing. Sarah is genuinely happy. She saves consistently, invests a portion of her income, has no debt, and doesn't compare herself to others. Then there's Mike. Mike makes twice what Sarah makes, maybe even more. But he's stressed all the time. Why? Because he's got a mortgage on a house he can barely afford, car payments on a luxury vehicle, credit card debt from trying to maintain a certain lifestyle, and he's constantly worried about keeping up appearances. Same city, different mindsets, different outcomes, different levels of peace. The truth is, wealth isn't really about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep. It's about the gap between your ego and your income. And most of us, we let our ego drive our financial decisions without even realizing it. We buy things to signal status, to show others that we're successful, that we've made it, that we're worthy of respect. But deep down, and you know this is true, nobody cares about your stuff as much as you think they do. Everyone's too busy worrying about their own lives, their own insecurities, their own need to appear successful. Here's something else that messes with our heads when it comes to money. We're absolutely terrible at understanding risk and probability. We overestimate our ability to predict the future and underestimate how much luck plays a role in success. Think about it. We see someone who's wealthy and we assume they did everything right, that they're brilliant, that they have some secret formula. Sometimes that's true, but often, they were in the right place at the right time. They took a risk that happened to work out. They had opportunities that others didn't. And the opposite is true too. We see someone struggling and we assume they made bad choices, that they're lazy or irresponsible. But maybe they got sick. Maybe they lost a job during a recession. Maybe they were dealt a bad hand. The point is, we judge ourselves and others way too harshly when it comes to money, without acknowledging how much of it is out of our control. And this creates so much shame, so much guilt. People who are struggling financially often feel like failures, even when circumstances were stacked against them. And people who are doing well financially sometimes feel like imposters, like they don't deserve it, like they just got lucky. Both perspectives can be destructive. So what do we do with all this? How do we actually improve our relationship with money? First, we've got to get honest with ourselves about our beliefs. What do you actually think about money? Do you think rich people are greedy? Do you think wanting money makes you shallow? Do you believe you're just not good with finances? Because these beliefs, they're running in the background like software, influencing every decision you make. And if you've got limiting beliefs about money, you're going to sabotage yourself every single time you start making progress. Second, we need to separate our self-worth from our net worth. You are not your bank account. You are not your salary. You are not the car you drive or the house you live in. Your value as a human being has absolutely nothing to do with your financial status. I know society tells us otherwise. I know social media makes it seem like everyone else is living their best life while you're struggling. But it's a lie. Behind every perfect Instagram post is someone dealing with their own fears, their own debts, their own insecurities. Third, and this is huge, we need to redefine what wealth actually means. True wealth isn't just having a lot of money, it's having freedom. Freedom to spend your time how you want. Freedom to say no to things that don't serve you. Freedom from the constant anxiety about making ends meet. Wealth is going to bed at night without worrying about bills. Wealth is being able to help someone you love when they need it. Wealth is having options. And here's the beautiful thing. You can start building that kind of wealth right now, regardless of your income. Start small. Save something, even if it's just $10 a week. Not because $10 is going to make you rich, but because you're training your brain to think differently about money. You're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who saves. I'm the kind of person who plans for the future. I'm the kind of person who's in control of their finances. And that identity shift, that's where the real transformation happens. Learn to find joy in what you have instead of constantly focusing on what you don't. Practice gratitude. I know that sounds cheesy, but it works. Because gratitude is the antidote to envy, and envy is one of the biggest wealth killers out there. When you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you're never going to feel like you have enough. You're always going to be chasing, always stressed, always dissatisfied. And here's something really important. Stop trying to impress other people with your money. Seriously. The most financially secure people I know are often the ones you'd never guess have money. They drive normal cars, they live in modest homes, they don't flash designer labels. Because they figured out something crucial. The respect you get from displaying wealth is shallow and temporary. Real respect comes from who you are, not what you own. Also, understand that building wealth is a long game. It's not sexy, it's not exciting, it's boring, consistent decisions made over and over again for years. It's choosing to invest instead of splurge. It's saying no to impulse purchases. It's living below your means even when you could afford to live above them. And in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification, with overnight success stories, with getting rich quick, this is hard. This requires patience. But patience is a competitive advantage that most people don't have. You know what else nobody talks about? The emotional cost of financial stress, the constant anxiety, the sleepless nights, the way it seeps into your relationships, making you short-tempered and resentful, the way it limits your dreams because you can't imagine a way out. Money problems aren't just about money. They affect every single aspect of your life, your health, your happiness, your relationships, your sense of self. And that's why getting this right isn't just about building wealth. It's about building a life you actually want to live. But here's the good news, and I really want you to hear this. Your financial story isn't over. I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't care how much debt you have or how far behind you feel. You can change your relationship with money starting today. Not tomorrow, not next month when you get a raise. Today, by changing how you think about it, by making one small, better decision, by forgiving yourself for past mistakes and committing to a different path forward. Money is just a tool. That's it. It's not good or evil. It's not the root of all happiness or all problems. It's a tool that amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money will make you more generous. If you're anxious, money will give you more things to be anxious about. If you're grateful, money will give you more to be grateful for. So the work isn't really about making more money, though that can certainly help. The work is about becoming the kind of person who can handle money wisely, who can enjoy it without being controlled by it, who can build wealth without losing themselves in the process. I want to leave you with this. Financial peace isn't about having a certain amount in your bank account. It's about knowing that you're making decisions aligned with your values. It's about being able to look yourself in the mirror and feel proud of how you're handling your responsibilities. It's about building a life where money serves you instead of you serving money. And that's available to you right now. Not someday. Right now. So take a moment today. Just sit with yourself and think about your relationship with money. What needs to change? What beliefs are holding you back? What's one small step you can take today to move in a better direction? Because understanding the psychology of money, understanding how it works in your mind and your life, that's the first step to transforming everything. If this resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below and tell me what your biggest money mindset challenge is. Let's talk about it. And if you want more content about building a better life, mastering your psychology, and creating the kind of freedom that actually matters, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because we're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.